Hello all. Previously we have seen different types of programming languages like low level language and high level language and assembly language. So in this video we will see the translators that are used in computer programming. So translators in programming are the tools that convert your high level language to machine level language so that your computer can understand zeros and ones and then execute your code. So in order to convert your high level language to low level language, we are having translators in computer programming. Mainly there are three main types of translators are there. One is compilers, and the second one is assemblers, and the third one is interpreters. We will see one by one what is compiler and what is interpreter and what is assembler. So let's get started. First one, compiler. C programming language is a compiled language. So in C program we have compiler and assembler together. So we'll see what compiler does in computer programming. A compiler translates entire source code once. So your source code, that means your .c file, can be taken as an input to the compiler. So your compiler will scan the entire lines of code, and it will tell you if there are any mistakes out there or if there are any errors out there, so that you need to rectify those errors and then you can recompile the code. So your compiler will check for the syntax errors, and then if there are no syntax errors, then we will have a executable code. So a compiler translates the entire source code of a program from a high level language into a machine level code or intermediate code before the program is run. This process involves several stages. In compiler, there are so many different stages involved, uh, namely lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis, optimization, and code generation. These are the stages of compilers. So no need to dig deep what is lexical analysis and syntax analysis and optimization and code generation. These things will learn in there is a subject called compiler design. In that we can learn what is lexical analysis and what is syntax analysis. There is a separate subject for computer students called compiler design. In that we can study what is lexical analysis, what is syntax analysis. So no need to put extra effort to knowing what is lexical analysis, what are tokens, what are symbols. No need to dig deep as part of C programming language. So simply a compiler will convert your high level language to machine level code, or what we call an assembly code. So in C programming language, a compiler will take your high level language and then converts into assembly code. Okay, so we'll see what is the compilation process in C language looks like in a while. So let's continue. So as part of compilers, we have different examples. One is GCC, very famous compiler for C language and C++, and Java C is another famous compiler for Java language. So Java is both compiled and interpreted language, so that we can see later. So what are the advantages of compiler? So the translated code can be executed quickly because we entire source code scans at the first place, so that your execution speed will improve significantly. So the compiled languages are more the compiled languages run so fast when compared to interpreted languages. We will see what is the interpreter in a while. So, but there are some disadvantages. The disadvantage is the compilation process can be time consuming, and then debugging can be more challenging. So what is debugging? Debugging is a process of finding errors in your program. We will see what is debugging in dev cpp software in upcoming lectures. So debugging helps you understand the code better. I will show you what is debugging in dev cpp in upcoming lectures. It is very fun to know what is debugging in system level. So these are some disadvantages of compiled languages. So we'll see what is interpreter. An interpreter code translates your high level language to machine code, but it will scan line by line. Compiler will scan entire source code at once, but interpreter scans line by line. Okay, so executing each line immediately and then convert that particular line into machine code. That is the job of interpreter. So usually, what are the advantages of interpreters? Interpreter is easy to debug and test since errors are found can be fixed in during execution. So interpreter, we can debugging is very easy. Languages like Python, debugging is very easy. When it comes to C language, debugging is little bit difficult. In compiled languages, debugging is difficult. And disadvantages is it is slower in execution. So compiled languages are faster when compared to interpreted languages. Interpreted languages are very slow when compared to compiled languages. So Python is very slow when compared to C and Java. By the way, Java is both compiled and interpreted language, but Python is very slow when compared to C and Java. Okay, so that is the difference between compiler and interpreter. We will see what is assembler. So assembler takes your assembly code as an input and then converts into a machine code. So in C language, we both have compiler and assembler. We will see what is a compilation process in C language in upcoming lecture, so that you can understand what is compilation and what is the assembler can do in C programming language. So there are some examples of assemblers is listed here. One is NASM, Net-Wide Assembler, and Microsoft Macro Assembler. These are the two popular assemblers for the different architectures. So, so that's it for different translators in computer programming. We have seen what is compiler and what is interpreter and what is assembler. So assembler will take assembly code as input and converts that into machine code, and the compiler will take the high level language as an input and converts into assembly code in C language itself, and interpreter takes your high level language as an input and converts into machine code. These are the main functionalities of different translators. And what is the main difference between compiler and interpreter? Compiler will scan the entire source code at once so that your mistakes can be found in one single run, and interpreter scans each line of the code and converts into machine code. If any error occurs in between, it will stop and it will give you the list of errors found at that line. Okay, after that it won't proceed for the other lines. That is the difference between compiler and interpreter. So I hope this session is useful. I will see you in my next lecture. Thank you so much for watching.